Hi, my name is Paige Ravenscraft. I'm a sophomore at Bangor High School, and today I'm going to talk about the power of empathy. So what? You're a dyke? These are the words my friend heard when she tried to come out to her mother. To her mother, maybe this was just mildly offensive, maybe she thought it was okay, but to my friend, this was an incredibly violent gesture that scared her into keeping herself hidden from everyone for years to come. After 5 years of friendship, I never would have guessed my friend's mother was capable of this act of violence. I never would have guessed that my friend coming out to me would have been so terrifying for her. I never would have guessed that our peers and even parents would still use slurs like dyke and fag like I assumed they stopped doing years ago. I never would have guessed that I'd grow up hearing from my peers that bullying in school was rarely where their fear came from, and that the real bullies were the people who were supposed to love them unconditionally. Because I grew up being taught that everybody deserved to feel loved and accepted with absolutely no exceptions. When I was 5 years old, during the first election to legalize gay marriage in Maine, I asked my mom what no on one meant. She said to me, "You know how mom and dad love each other, so we got married? Well, sometimes a girl and a girl, or a boy and a boy love each other and want to get married too. So we're saying it's okay for them to get married just like dad and I." And to her I said, "Oh, I find that we're all born with empathy, this ability to understand a perspective other than our own. For some reason, the empathy tends to be taught out of us from a pretty young age. Instead of teaching love and kindness, parents, one way or another, teach their kids how to ignore the empathy they feel for other people. Then that generation of kids grows up to teach their children to stop empathizing, and they get stuck in this cycle of hate that applies to everything from racism to sexism to homophobia and more. It's this cycle of teaching to fear or to look down upon anybody other than yourself. In order to combat violence, we need to use empathy. There are 3 steps to using empathy. The first is understanding empathy, the second is practicing empathy, and the third is teaching empathy. To understand empathy, we need to know what makes a person who they are and why every person is different. The simple answer is experiences. As we grow, we encounter the world in a series of moments we may not even remember, but every moment leads to our overall view of the world. Empathy means knowing that not a single other person has had the exact same experiences you've had. They haven't had the same struggles, and they haven't had the same guidance. They haven't had the same support. They haven't had the same privileges, and they haven't had the same disadvantages. So to be able to effectively empathize, we need to listen. Listen to whatever other is telling you about their experience. Put aside what you think you know about their experience, because chances are you know nothing about the things they've gone through. If everyone did it, practicing empathy might just be enough. But because not everybody does, we must continue to teach it. We have to teach it to each other and, most importantly, to our youth. That means raising children while keeping their natural empathy intact. It means being an example and using empathy even when others aren't. If we show others we're taking the time to understand them, they may take the time to understand us. That way, by the time my friend may have a daughter or a son come out to her, she will say to them, "Oh, thank you."